on the harmony. Welcome the one and only Thug Queen. Thug Queen, thank you so much for calling in tonight. What's good, girl?
Definitely, definitely. I'm blessed, man. Grateful to be alive, man. God is good.
Hell yeah. I'm so excited to have you here. And I know we've been talking a lot about getting a full length interview, but I was like, man, I want to get her in just for a couple minutes just to catch people up because I think that out of all the people affiliated with like Mo Thug and stuff like that, like you got to be like top five that were asked about the most. What's up with Thug Queen? What's she doing? When can we get new music? So there's so many questions, but we just want to know like what's going on? What you working on, girl? We gonna get new Thug Queen music or what?
Definitely. Um, you know, I I'm one of those artists that I'm definitely getting ready to do something that has never been done before, or at least not the way that, God has prepared me to do it. I know how powerful music is and how many people it can reach. I want to thank all my fans out there for the love and the support. My music is basically going to be designed to heal. And so there's frequencies and everything that have to go in the beats and everything. So it's definitely coming. I'm also getting into more media, television, videos,
Oh yeah.
things like that, radio. Um, I also have a brand called Camila, which is my name, and also did school for fashion. So just putting some things together. I mean, it's gonna be epic when the world gets it. It's definitely gonna be epic. So I'm just grateful for the support and being requested. It's an honor for sure.
Yeah. You had mentioned just like it sounds like a big change in your music and your style. Is that something that you think the growth just came from time, from age, from reflecting on what your message would have been? Like what brought upon the what sounds like a change for you musically?
Well, for me, life experiences, of course, you know what I mean? Growing up, learning and knowing different things. Music has the ability to heal. Um, but a lot of people don't know that or don't use it. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's necessary for me to just, leave that legacy. So the album's gonna be a visual. Everything is video and kind of like a Purple Rain kind of thing, like Prince. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Hell yeah.
So every song has a visual. So it's just, it's taking time. I'm really focused on it now more than I've ever been. So, y'all will be getting it real soon.
That's awesome. I Your name recently came up again in all like the Bone Thugs and Harmony forums and all the Bone boards because Crazy Bone's been talking about a Ghetto Cowboy Part 2 and was saying that he was trying to reach out to the Queen, reach out to Powder. Is that something that you guys have had talks about? Are we going to see the anticipated follow up to Ghetto Cowboy?
Absolutely, absolutely. Crazy discovered me, and he's the one who kind of put that whole thing together. So, I mean, absolutely, it's definitely time for us to get the fans what they've been asking for. So, right before COVID happened, actually, we were supposed to all get together and do the part two. But then COVID happened, so it kind of just shut the world down. Um, but yeah, definitely, definitely.
I've always been curious, because Ghetto Cowboy was such a different, not just for Bone or Mo Thug, but for hip hop in general at the time. You see a lot of like country hip hop now, but back then you guys really went out on a limb, being what we would consider urban hip hop and doing something like Ghetto Cowboy. When that was first pitched to you, what did you think of that idea? Like we're gonna make a fucking western. Like what did you think about that?
Well, we actually did some research on it before we even did it. But the thing about it, we're all great creators. Everybody who's on the song and everybody who was there when we did it. So we just kind of had the idea and just kind of roll with it. But we did some research, like, you know, there were black cowboys back in the days. I thought it was really cool and different and very interesting. You know what I mean? I'm a creator, so I'm constantly like thinking about different ways to do music or whatever the case may be. But yeah, there were actually black cowboys back in the day. So we just kind of rode that wave and the fans, they
Yeah.
still talking about it to this day. So it was definitely something that was prolific and I'm honored to have been a part of it,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
huge, and it shaped a lot of culture then, and I think it shapes culture now that some people may not even realize that it derived from something like Ghetto Cowboy. When you guys were making it, I know you said you did a lot of research, but it's unquestionably from a sales perspective the biggest song to come out of the Mo Thug camp of all time. Did you guys think that it was going to have that kind of impact, or did you just kind of think it would just be one of those songs? Like it smashed, and really it still continues to smash.
I never thought any of it would go as long and as valued as it did. We did in those days it was just so much action, you know what I mean, going on, that you didn't really have enough time to kind of embrace it. It's just like now you like, wow, people still, talking about that song, or they still want us to do it. Like, it's a blessing from God, bro. Like, you know, um, I humbly say this, that I think a lot of us still don't really understand the impact that we might have had, or, how we were able to touch people. But it's when God is working through you, you're able to do those things. So, all honor be unto the Most High, for sure.
Yeah. It was an amazing thing to see happen as a fan and see that video and just, what the response was. And I would say even in Bone culture, it's continued to be impactful. Crazy Bone working on an album called that. Lazy Bone just did his album and it was very themed around Ghetto Cowboy. Even having a chorus like that, and even Busy Bone had a song called Django, and that even touches on that Western vibe where he did that. So I think that its impact was huge, and it's really stuck around. And I know as fans we'll be interested to see what the continuation of that is. Do you think that you think we'll see another video out of it as well?
Absolutely. I don't know if you heard me at the beginning, but I am in the process. I just signed some paperwork to do videos, movies, television, all of those different things. So definitely you'll see a whole lot more. Not just the Ghetto Cowboys too, but just a whole lot more. Once you understand that you have the ability to impact people, it's a great position to be in, but it requires a lot
Yeah.
from you as an individual. So, definitely more visuals, more of all of that, for sure. Definitely.
So speaking of part twos, and I know you guys recorded so much music that I'm hoping that these ring a bell, because the chat is just blowing up with ask her this, ask her this. So you were actually
I
part of.
can't see it.
Yeah, that's over on the YouTube part. We're in a private Zoom because if we weren't, we would have all these people in here hitting us at once. So it's something that they've all been asking in the chat here is ask her about Bud Smokers Part Two and Where My Thugs At Part Two, which you were part of both of those. They've remained unreleased. Do you remember those tracks, and do you have any idea why they didn't end up coming out?
Absolutely, I remember the tracks. I think that, as far as business, especially back in those days, it was very political. You get what I'm saying? And so we were able to sneak a lot of things in, if that makes sense. Um, but there's a ton of music that was never released. I don't think that people really understand the amount of money that it takes to, you know, put something out and make it, whatever that hit thing, whatever. There's just components that work together with those kind of things. But again, we were kids, we were moving so fast that we got millions and millions of songs. That's all we did was record, you know. So I'm not really sure why the stuff didn't come out. A lot of stuff that been leaked now because, it's more in the artist's hands, what you could put out. You could just throw stuff out on YouTube and stuff
Yeah.
like that now. And it's a lot more open as far as, what's put out and what's shelved or, whatever the case may be.
There's a lot of artist independence now that didn't exist back during, like Mo Thugs 1 and 2. Everything kind of ran through the label. Now you see artists that are just, completely independent. Like you said, if they want to put something out tomorrow on digital platforms, they have the ability to do that. But you guys really had to go through a chain just to get something like Relativity to put the stamp and say this is good to go. At that time, because you were doing so much music, were you working on a Thug Queen solo album?
I am working on a Third Queen solo album. Absolutely, yes. That's funny. I was just telling somebody this the other day. It seems like every time I got ready to release my album, something extremely crazy would happen. Like, like, um, so I mean, when y'all get it, you know, it's gonna be epic because man, I'm just excited for the world to hear what I got to say. Like, you know, and again, I mean, I'm honored at the fact that, I just want everybody on here to know that you never know what an artist has gone through, might be going through, or has been through as far as certain things go. Y'all are the reason why great artists keep going. you know,
Mm.
the fans, the people who rocking with you and want to hear what you got to say. And, we're still all human beings at the end of the day. Um, and there's a lot of things that kind of get in the way of an artist expressing themselves. But however, the fact that people love you and want to hear your message and want to hear what you got to say, it's a blessing from God. You know what I mean? So I feel obligated to definitely, the people that's been rocking with me for 20 something years, give them that heat because ain't nobody gonna give it to you like the queen. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, we already know that. That's why everybody's always asking. This is why y'all don't know how much Thug Queen gets harassed by me to come on Beyond the Harmony. I'm every other day I'm like, Queen, I gotta get you in here. But don't worry, it's because they harass me so hard that you gotta get Thug Queen. And we are gonna get Thug Queen back for a full length interview so we can really dive in. But I wanted you guys to know that we are rocking with her. We're very excited for a Thug Queen album. Can we expect to see any features from familiar faces that we may know on your album, or is it going to be completely solo, or what's it looking like?
You know what? I'm gonna let the universe and God decide that part, right? Because this is not necessarily my thing, it's God's thing. And so there's a lot of praying and meditation that's going on with this project, and just making sure that I'm not just, putting something out. I'm gonna give my music is gonna have the ability to heal from the frequencies and the beats to, the lyrics, everything. I'm speaking life. You know what I mean? So, um, with that being said, uh, you know. I'm extremely excited about what y'all gonna see here, feel. I feel like right now hip hop it needs to shift into something different. Um, and it's just very important that, you know, conscious artists really put out that message and that love in the sound or whatever the case may be. So I forgot the question, but
It's
yeah.
all right. Your answer was spectacular. It's all right. Before I let you go, because the chat is filling up, but I gotta save it. I'm gonna save all the questions they're asking for our full length because they deserve real answers. People want to know about Thug Queen and the Night Riders and Thug Queen on Mo Thug and all this, but we're gonna save that, okay? Because those deserve real answers from the Queen. I gotta know, is there anything else in this short amount of time that we had that you want to let people know and where they can keep an eye and check out on our favorite Queen?
The last part, I didn't hear the last part. What'd you say?
Just where people might be able to check you out and keep an eye on what you're doing and look for follow up.
I am on Instagram. That's thug.queen. I'm really learning how to use these platforms and, you know, kind of get out here and put the message out. But you could definitely personally get at me at thug.queen on Instagram. And that's pretty much, you know, the only platform right now where you can like literally reach me directly. Um, I think that was the question you
Yeah,
asked.
yeah, yeah. Is there anything else before we let you go that you want to let people know tonight?
Um, Actually, I was gonna tell you that I could answer like one or two more questions that the fans have.
All right. Well, I think the one that I see popping up the most is the one that I kind of mentioned. We know that you were a Mo Thug, and then we know that you dabbled in the Night Riders, which was Thug Line, and everybody kind of wants to know like what kind of that bridge crossing was like, and is it still all Mo Thug love even when you were over on Thug Line, and just how that came together for you.
What's that? I'm
the
sorry, I couldn't hear the last part.
the transition from Mo Thug to being like a Thug Line artist because you were with the Night Riders for a while, right?
Yeah.
So when that happened, um, like how did that come about? That you would be like a Night Rider and work with Crazy over on Thug Line.
Again, Crazy's the one who actually discovered me. So, you know, it was pretty much just work with him. He's very creative and very spontaneous when it comes to like creativity and, you know, kind of putting out something different. And he came to us with the idea, and, you know, of course it was brilliant. But it was a lot of different energy attached to that, you know.
Yeah, made it made it harder. I thought it was interesting that you were kind of like the go-to for the unique projects. Like we just said, Ghetto Cowboys, something unique and different. Night Riders, something unique and different. And I think that for us, like we think of Crazy Bones Thug Mentality 1999, and your appearances on there are so like the Armageddon track. I mean, you want to talk about something prolific. You guys at the end when it was you and Soulja and like Mohart and Crazy. I mean, you guys were doing so much at that time. At what point did it kind of slow down, for you, and you kind of started to like step away from the situation?
Again, especially in those days, everything was really political. But I also had a daughter, you know what I mean? And I had just had her maybe a week before I met Crazy. So I had a newborn baby at that time. A lot of people didn't know that. And so when I
Wow.
walked in the
That must have made it
door,
so hard to be doing everything you were doing and touring and recording and having this
I
brand new
didn't really
baby.
think about it. I didn't really think about it until maybe years later. You know what I mean? Like just that instinct, that impulse, just coming from the streets and wanting to do something different with my life. And you know what I mean? The opportunity was there and everything was moving so fast that, my very first show was in an arena of 50,000.
Wow. Holy.
I'm 15, 16 years old.
Were
You know what I
were
mean?
you
So
intimidated
with a
in front of
brand
a
new
crowd
baby.
that big?
So it's like, you said what?
Were you intimidated in front of a crowd that big, it being your first show at that age?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, you're talking to somebody that was 11 years old on the block in East Cleveland with 3 pairs of pants on and 4 shirts. So no, absolutely not. Just like Jay-Z say, this ain't really like, what I'm saying? It ain't no, it's not a big deal because we grew up in war zones. So to be standing on a stage with 50,000 people, it was definitely one of those wow moments, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it was like do or die, especially in that camp, you know what I mean? Like no spot was ever secure. You had to work your ass off, you know what I mean, to be heard because it was just so many people
Did you feel like you
looking
had to
for a
work
way out.
twice as hard because you were a woman and there were there's so many male entities in the Mo Thugs at that time. Did you feel like you had to come twice as hard, especially like back then? Like it's evident that female rappers in general didn't get the same respect that males were getting, and they really had to come double time. Did you feel like it was the same situation at Mo Thug where you had to really like come almost twice as hard?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I don't, the female thing, that's one thing, but, to be in an environment with, Bone Thugs and Harmony and, mentally I'm competing with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy.
like in my mind, like I want to be, that person that just come through with it. Like, again, being in a war, growing up in a war like environment, you learn how to be competitive and really go at what you love or what you want. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I definitely had to work, I say 10 times harder. You know what I mean? Because not only am I a female, but I also then came from the streets. I also just had a baby. It's a lot of different things that played a part. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, Queen, I think we lost your audio.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
Can you
there
hear
she
me?
is. Okay, we hear you now. Yeah. All right, we got one more question from the chat. I haven't seen anybody ask this one before, and I think it's an interesting answer. They want to know, did you have or do you have any unreleased songs with Busy Bone?
With Busy.
With Busy.
I did a intro one time on something he was on, but we never did music together.
Time Travel.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
beginning and the end album.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
Right.
remember when I got it and I was like, "Oh, Thug Queen's on this," and I put it on and I heard you on the intro, and then there was no verse. I'm like, "Oh, no!" And I even replayed it. I'm like, "Did I miss it? Did I like date those off, or did I time travel and miss it?" And yeah, well, it's too bad, man. It would have been great to have that verse. Hey, I got a question about Con Artist. Like, I don't know who he is, but I seen that you did a track with him on his album. You got any background information on Con Artist? Because I don't know who he is.
Me either.
Oh, okay.
All
Nice.
right, then that was just a feature that she probably got paid for, John.
Nice. Well, hey.
Well, you know what? Again, there was a lot of music that's been done. Yeah, so I mean, I can't necessarily say, you know, I don't remember that. But again, shit, nonstop work. a whole bunch of work. So, um,
Do you have a
brother
working?
brother Clay in the chat, who's responsible for doing things with Busy Bone, like the Misery Project, and he's just done a lot of different connections, like Frank Nitti. He wants to know if there's a way that you can be contacted about possibly doing features now.
absolutely. Again, you can reach me directly at thug.queen on Instagram. Um, and yeah, I'm definitely interested. I feel like the world definitely needs to hear my perspective on a lot of things. And I'm excited about, working more and putting more music out. And again, the fans that I do have over these years, I'm just grateful. Um, y'all inspire me. You
Yeah.
feel me? So keep it coming. Like, reach out to me directly. If you're trying to do certain things, definitely let's connect. Like, I'm definitely down for it, for sure.
There you go, brother Clay. That's your answer. Thug Queen, I want to thank you for coming on. I look forward to us getting you back for a full-length interview in the future. Everybody drop all those crown emojis in the chat for Thug Queen, and we're going to get her back ASAP. Season 4, you're going to be the first person I'm hitting up, Queen.
Let's do it.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
do it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. You
Y'all
have a great
good
night.
night.
All hail the queen.
Beyond the harmony for the fans we celebrate.